Nothing bad so far. Oh! Hey everyone. Well, this is the second review. And as you can see, still wearing the same thing, huh? Except this time I decided to wear something with a collar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I bet you're wondering, what am I reviewing this time? What science fictional hero would I be reviewing this time? Since my last review... Oh yeah, I forgot. Last thing I forgot to mention. I'm going to clear some mistakes this time, folks. On my last review, John Carter, I said it was Washington Irving who wrote the book of Princess of Mars and Tarzan. For those of you who didn't just read that thing I wrote down below my video on both Facebook and YouTube, it's not Washington Irving. It was Edgar Rice Burroughs. Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote The Princess of Mars and Tarzan of the Apes. Washington Irving, he wrote The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Rip Van Winkle. But hey, could have been worse. I would say it would have been L. Ron Hubbard who wrote the book. And everybody knew about him. And I know about one of his books that he written, Battlefield Earth, which that movie bombed. And I don't think I'll be able to review that at all. Or any of L. Ron Hubbard's books. I mean, I'm very open on science fictional books, but to L. Ron Hubbard, although I do have some thoughts about reading the book of Battlefield Earth, and see if the book is a lot better than that movie with John Travolta. I mean, seriously. As long as you learn how to spell your name, I have conquered galaxies! I don't even think he can do Shakespeare at all. I mean, imagine him if he'd do Hamlet. To be or not to be? That is the question that is noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. And I would imagine him playing along with a Shakespearean actor. He'll be like, the little lady don't know how to digest. It's protest, you moron. Your Shakespeare is terrible. Anyway, enough for fixing a mistake about who wrote John Carter and my joke about Battlefield Earth. Let's get back to the one I'm going to review right now, shall we? And this time I don't know who created this character. Now, the one I'm going to be reviewing to you today is Flash. No, not that Flash, not the fastest man alive. I'm talking about the science fictional hero, Flash. Of course, some of you may have heard about him. It all started, well, didn't start, but everybody remembers the song. For those of you who don't know, let me start. Bum 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 Flash! Ah, wow, wow, savior of the universe. Down, now, 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 now. Bum 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 bum. Flash! Ah, wow, wow. He saved every one of us. Now, 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 now. I always seem to love that theme song. So, that's right, folks. I'm reviewing Flash Gordon. This is our review for the day, folks. And sorry for the mistake I made about John Carter. It's still a good movie. And all the critics who criticize it can kiss my butt. Anyway, enough of John Carter. Let's get Flash Gordon. He started out as a comic strip back in the, I would say probably the 30s and 40s, until they finally gave him a comic book debut, and I have a printout of the comic book of Flash Gordon. In the original comics, this is how it goes. There's a bad guy who goes by the name of Ming the Merciless. Ming. Sounds Chinese. Anyway, he's supposed to be the ruler of the galaxy, and he's creating a lot of disasters on Earth. And there is this evil, mad scientist. Well, I mean, from the beginning he thought he was evil, but it turns out that he made a mistake. He mistaked that Flash Gordon and that reporter lady was spies of Ming, so he puts them in a rocket ship heading towards the sun until Flash tinkered the device and it got away from the sun and landed it on Ming's palace. And of course, here's another thing you should know about Flash Gordon. In the original comics, he was a polo player. So that means he's a snobby rich kid? Because the only people I know who plays polo are those snobby rich millionaires. Anyway, he goes up to outer space. Flash Gordon goes up to outer space, meets Ming the Merciless, and he gets so attracted over that lady reporter that Flash seemed to like. So Ming the Merciless was never been attracted to Earth beauty until he saw her and decided to have her as his bride while he destroys Earth. But of course, Flash Gordon gets in his way, and of course, Ming's daughter, she's attracted to Flash. While at the same time, he puts the scientists, made a scientist be his slave. So right now, Flash is fighting his way along with the help of Ming's daughter because she helped him escape, while at the same time save the girl and save the Earth by going around the galaxy, meeting other aliens, making peace with them, and have them help him battle against Ming. He meets this one alien. His style kind of looks sort of like Robin Hoodness, because he's always wear all green and dark green, and he's supposed to be the true love interest to Ming's daughter. And Ming's daughter, she loves him more than Flash. And also, Flash meets another alien, and they're like these human winged people. I mean, they're kind of like these guys with wings on their backs, kind of like angels. And their leader is Prince Falcon. So he's making peace with two princes, not princess, and started rounding up an army in order to deal against Ming the Merciless. Imagine his own daughter being a traitor to him. And of course, the epic fight between Flash Gordon and Ming the Merciless. He has no superpowers like what John Carter had when he went to Mars. He's just a very athletic guy. I guess during his years of playing polo made him very athletic, huh? But he studied sword fight and knows how to wrestle a bad guy. So, that's pretty much he's able to do. Flash Gordon got so popular that back in the 40s when television wasn't even invented, but they made a bunch of cereals. You probably heard me mention about cereals before, and I don't mean breakfast cereals. I'm talking about the series they made before television, where people have to go to a theater to see one scene, and then they have to go back to see another chapter of picking up where it left off. And it always ends with our hero getting killed, and then when they come back, they escape death. So right here we have the first Flash Gordon ever made in theaters, starring Buster Crabs. Now, Buster Crabs, actors back then were kind of overacting before they became good actors. Buster Crabs not bad. It's just he's like a typical good-looking, dashing blonde type sci-fi hero. Why is it that back then in the 50s, ever since the 50s and 40s, all the sci-fi heroes are the good-looking Christian people doing some working out there. Anyway, they always have the good-looking, blonde-haired, dashing superhero. Hey, how you doing? With a chiseled jaw, while the bad guy always had facial hair. I mean, always have a mustache, goatee. Don't look at me, I'm not a sci-fi villain. But Ming the Merciless, he has a mustache and a goatee, and he's bald. And of course, in the comics, his skin is supposed to be kind of yellowish green. Are they trying to make him look Asian? And then they made the sequel of the serials, called Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. And here is the sequel of what it looks like. Ming the Merciless is back. So now Flash is fighting, helping others, and battling against Ming again. And then there's a third one called Flash Gordon Trip to Mars. Just too bad he didn't live in the same century where he can meet John Carter. Would that be an interesting crossover theory if Flash Gordon met John Carter? But I bet it would ruin the whole the whole thing about the story, because when John Carter's in Mars, he can jump really, really high and has super strength. So if Flash Gordon went to Mars, it would happen the same thing to him. And that cannot be possible, because in this one, based on the comics, when he's in Mars, he's still an average Joe. Just athletic. And then in the 50s, or probably 60s, when television were made, they had decided to make a new science fictional series of Flash Gordon, and therefore starring Steve Holland as Flash Gordon. And here's the old Sci-Fi series. And it must be the first science fictional series ever made. And of course, somebody around the 70s decided to make a series. It's pretty much, I had to say, it's pretty much close to the original series. Pretty much true to the original comic book aspects, and also the comic strips. So therefore, I have here in my hand is a DVD collection of The Adventure of Flash Gordon. He only made about 14 episodes in this one, but I have to say this was pretty close to the original comic strips. And of course, here's Falcon in the back. And of course, they added a new character, this lion character, even though he was never in the comics. He was just made up for this. But it is pretty close to the source material. And then somebody decided to make, since the Justice League and the Avengers were pretty big at the time, they decided for Flash Gordon to team up with the other heroes from the comic strips. So therefore, he meets the King of the Jungle, the one they call the Ghost Who Walks, Phantom, and also a magician who's a master of magic, spells, and illusions. Enemies crumble in daze and confusion, Mandrake. And his trusty black assistant, Luthor. Not Lex Luthor, he's just named Luthor. along with a couple of kids. Like there's Flash Gordon Jr., Luthor Jr., and Mandrake has a daughter, and the Phantom has a son. And they're all teaming up together to battle against Ming again. And it's called Defenders of the Earth Defenders. Dum dum. Haven't seen the series, but I've been watching and listening to their intro. I have to say, their theme song is so dang catchy. And once again, somebody decided to do another Flash Gordon series back in the 90s. Oh, wait a minute. Before the 90s, I'm going to talk about the one that I got the theme song from that everybody seemed to remember. A cult classic that I got the Blu-ray of is Flash! Ha bow bow. Savior of the universe! Bow bow now, bow bow bow. This theme song is really catchy. I don't know much about the actors in this movie, except I do know that the guy who plays Ming the Merciless, he's the same old guy who played the Exorcist in the movie The Exorcist. But I'm not reviewing that movie. Thank God. When it comes to movies involving the devil himself is where I draw the line. But all in all, this movie wasn't a success in the blockbuster, but it became a cult classic. And this actor here who plays Flash, here's a little something I discovered about him. He was a former Playgirl model. So he posed nude to a certain magazine that only gay guys and desperate women likes to look through. But I have to say that his performance is way better than Buster Crabbe's from the serials. And of course, Timothy Dalton, he's in it. He plays that prince with the Robin Hood wear. And some people say he always gets the chicks. But what is it about him he always gets the girls? That's one thing I'll never know. Anyway, all in all, this movie is pretty good, so some of you can give it a watch. And even some of the people who worked in Hollywood are die-hard fans of this cult film. Tell you the truth, I was lucky I found this on Blu-ray, because the only areas where I can find the original movie comes with the other movie created by Seth MacFarlane, Ted, and Ted 2. Saw the first movie. I saw the first movie, but I didn't get the DVD. It was on when I went to Belterra. Went to a hotel. And I have to say, the movie was full of cussing and inappropriate things. I never care much on Seth MacFarlane. I do watch Family Guy, but I always hate it when he makes a lot of blaspheme jokes, and inappropriate ones. But one thing I thought was pretty cool about Ted, that he has the guy who plays Flash Gordon from this movie, playing as himself in the movie Ted 1 and 2. So it was pretty cool to have the old actor from the original movie make his appearance as himself. So I guess that Seth MacFarlane must be a die-hard fan for this movie. Anyway. Oh, and here's one thing I also remembered that I once heard. George Lucas, who made Star Wars, most of his design idea of Star Wars, he got it from the TV series of Flash Gordon. The serials. Like from the beginning of the movie, when you see the words that says, once upon a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and you see a bunch of these words just rising up and up, that was from the TV serials of Flash Gordon. So pretty much, when he created Star Wars, he was giving his homage to the to the serials. And the guy who made this movie, De Laurentiis, made this film. George Lucas thought of it as a front to his creation. And now I hear that there's a new Flash Gordon movie coming up, and I just hope George Lucas don't think of that one as a front, because of his new Star Wars movies coming out since he made a deal with Disney. Which I think that, I don't know why did George Lucas thought it was okay for Disney to own the rights of Star Wars. It's just like when they own the rights of Marvel. I mean, I think it's ridiculous, but they're doing pretty good on the Marvel movies. It's just too bad I can't catch up to any of the Star Wars movies. So, sorry for you Star Wars fans. Anyway, after the 80s movie, they made a cartoon series of Flash Gordon once again. And then in around the 2000, the Sci-Fi Channel original movie, before they decided to put SYFY, which it doesn't make any frickin' sense, decided to make a drama series of Flash Gordon once again, and tried to make it look more like, a drama. Nothing campy, nothing corny like the movies, just more serious. Sadly, the series was short-lived, and here's what it looks like. Oh, and here's another thing they changed. In the original comic book, Flash Gordon was a polo player, but in the 80s movie, they made him into a football player. And now in this series here, they made him into a Olympic track star. And of course, the only thing I saw was pretty campy on the series is that one of the alien guys said, "Flash, you'll save every one of us." So, I don't know how this new Flash Gordon movie is going to turn out. Is it going to be successful? Or is it just going to be another memory? I guess we'll never know. Now, next time, folks, I'm going to review another science fictional hero. Came out around the same time as Flash Gordon. But this one is about a science fictional hero who was frozen in time. His name is Buck Rogers. So you better stay tuned. So, anybody who likes this review of Flash Gordon, please leave a comment down below, subscribe, hit like, or make a comment on Facebook and share it. So, this is Michael Graham, multi-voice reviewer here, saying to you all, so long. No, wait, not so long. Adonzi!